The NFL draft is less than a month away, and I think it might be time for us to do a 7-round Giants mock draft on the channel, but I don't know if you guys want that. If you do, go down and type me in the comments, and let's say, what do you think? Maybe 100 comments? If we get 100 me's in the comment section, we'll do a 7-round mock draft later this week, so let me know if you want one by typing me. What's going on, Giants fans? Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. And in today's show, we're going to talk about David Ojabo and taking him at pick 36, if that's too early following the Achilles injury. We're also going to touch on the QB rumors and if the Giants are really all that interested in drafting a quarterback in the first round. They had 4 people go to Sam Howell's Pro Day. And then we got some news, some free agency news on Jabril Peppers. But first, I want to start on David Ojabo. This was a guy that had been mocked to the Giants at pick 5 and pick 7 before he tore his Achilles at his Pro Day. An unfortunate situation for Ojabo. He was a guaranteed top 15 prospect in the 2022 NFL draft before the injury. And I've kind of talked to some Giants fans on Twitter, and they've hit me up and been like, yo, is 36, the Giants' second round pick, too early for Ojabo? And I kind of referenced this Dane Brugler tweet. He works for The Athletic, one of the best guys that covers the NFL draft in the whole world. And he said this: my early guess is Ojabo goes in the range of 40 to 75 overall. I don't think he goes first round, but it won't be a free fall either. That is assuming the rehab surgery stays on schedule with no complications. And the Achilles injury process has kind of been sped up over the most recent years. If you remember, Cam Akers came back in 6 months. He played in the same season that he tore his Achilles. I'm not saying Ojabo is going to do that, but I think he will recover quickly than what we are used to an Achilles injury taking for a recovery time period. We're going to continue to talk about Ojabo later on in the video, but I want to weigh in before we break it down and we give my opinion. Should the Giants draft David Ojabo, number 36 overall, following the Achilles injury? He may be ready for week 1. He may not. You got to talk to the doctors. You got to talk to the trainers. But those are all things you think of when Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are in the war room. So I want you to be the GM. Type D for draft, or if not, you can go down and type P for pass. Giants fans, we are 150 subscribers away from getting to 7,000. That's a big milestone. That's when you're like, you know what? This is a real deal Holyfield YouTube channel. And I want to get there today. So help me out. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go do it. Show some love. Hit that big red button. And if you're wondering why would I subscribe, it's because we got free daily videos on the latest Giants news and rumors leading into the NFL draft. And when the dog days of July are here, we're still going to be pumping out content, more content, I guarantee, than any other Giants YouTube channel. So go down right now, hit that big red button, help us get to 7,000 subscribers. And if we get there, we'll do this. We'll start the next show by taking 7 shots off the rip. So go down right now and hit that big red button. When it comes to Ojabo, I kind of lean that 36 may be a bit too early. But you got to think about this when you're a GM and it's on draft day. Will he make it to your next pick? And your next pick is number 67 overall. And I think he's more likely to be gone at 67. And if you just love David Ojabo and you think he's going to come back healthy and he can produce in year 1, you might have to take him at 36, because I can almost guarantee you he may not be there at 67. If you look what he did back at Michigan this past year, his first real year of football, his first year of getting real snaps, he balled out, and that's why he was a top 15 guy in this draft class. 11 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, 5 forced fumbles, 35 tackles. This is your prototypical edge that you want in day 1 of the NFL draft. He can bend the edge. He's extremely athletic. He's long. He's lanky. He's got that quick first step. This is someone that's only going to get better and better because he doesn't have the extravagant or the deep bag of pass rushing moves, because he's just getting started when it comes to playing football at a high level. So as he continues to progress and become a better football player and adding more skills and pass rush moves to his bag, this could be someone that could be a perennial all-pro type of player. That's why he was mocked to go in the top 15. And if you put him next to Leonard Williams and Azeez Ojulari and a Don Wink Martindale defense, I really do think Ojabo could pop. Another edge rusher that a lot of Giants mock drafts have them taking in round 2 is Drake Jackson out of USC. I like him, but I don't know if I like him more than a hurt David Ojabo. So I want you to, sway me. Let me know who you would pick at pick number 36 if you were Joe Schoen when that pick is on the clock. Would you take David Ojabo? If you would, you can go down and type D-O. Or if you think Drake Jackson is the guy the Giants should take, a healthy prospect, someone that has, somewhat a similar upside to Ojabo, go down and type DJ for Drake Jackson. Here at Giants Now, we are growing like crazy. We're getting closer and closer to 7,000 subs, and that's a credit to you. And we are growing, and we're growing to platforms that you guys are also on. We are now posting Giants content on Rumble. It's a video platform app, very similar to YouTube, a little less uncensored. It's really not censored at all, and that's what I like about it. We can be real, we can be honest, and we can spit that facts. Free and uncensored content, sports, news, politics, tech. We're one of the first sports channels on there, so go subscribe. Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers over there, so if you want more Giants content, go follow us, Rumble.com/NYGiantsTV. When you think about the Giants and drafting a quarterback in round 1, I got 3 notes on screen, but I think the second one is the most important. Daniel Jones has not proven he is their franchise quarterback. I believe in Daniel Jones. If you watch the show, you know that. But you got to have that in the back of your mind. He hasn't shown it. Yeah, he's had a rotation at offensive line. The playmakers have been inconsistent. He hasn't had a lot of help from the GM or the owner or the coach or the offensive coordinator. There's a whole bunch of reasons why Daniel Jones has not succeeded. But you also got to remember, when a new regime comes in, like Joe Schoen and like Brian Daboll, more often than not, they're going to want to get their own guy under center. And the Giants, they've attended Malik Willis's, Kenny Pickett, and Sam Howell's pro day. So there's some buzz around them taking a quarterback in the first round at pick 5 or 7, or if they trade down. And then I saw this tweet on Twitter the other day from U Stadium, kind of a aggregator type of account. They do a lot of sports news and rumors type of stuff. And they said this: the Giants' interest in this QB class shouldn't be ignored. Not saying they'll take one at 5, but they certainly are involved. And that's true. They attended the pro days of Willis and Pickett. And according to Ian Rappaport, he said this at Sam Howell's pro day yesterday. The Giants, they have like 4 people there. I think that is an interesting development. And I don't want to read too far into the 4 people going there. Shea Tierney was there, their quarterback coach. Their running back coach was there. And other guys were there. But there was also other guys the Giants were drafting. So it is interesting, but they also sent guys to the other top quarterbacks' pro days. And I think this is just due diligence. I think you got to scout these guys because you don't know where you're going to be 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now. Maybe you're in the camp where you got to trade for a quarterback, and those are one of the guys on the trade market. Maybe one of those guys become a free agent 5 years from now. You want to know the type of people they are. You want to have those one-on-one conversations. But I do think they're doing just their due diligence. They're doing their homework. They're doing what a GM and an organization should do. But if there's anything I've learned through the 2022 NFL offseason, you never say never. So I'm not going to be the guy up here saying there's no way, no how, if the sky's going to turn black if they draft a quarterback. I'm not saying that. Because, look, I didn't think Tyreek Hill was going to get traded. I didn't think Devontae Adams was going to be traded. I didn't think any of those moves were going to happen. I didn't think Tom Brady would retire and then unretire. But look where we are. So never say never. But if you were the GM and pick 5 is on the clock, or maybe pick 7, or maybe you trade it down, and let's say Willis, Pickett, or Howell are on the clock, should the Giants draft a QB in round 1? If you think they should, go down and comment Y for yes. I'm really curious where you all stand. Or you can go down and type N for no. When I take a look at who are all the quarterbacks in this class, I'm kind of with everybody else. It's not an elite QB class, but I do think there are 2 guys that could succeed, and I think that's Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett. When you look at what they did in 2021, they both popped off the page. Willis, a little less accurate, I guess is the term you want to use, but he's way more explosive. His ceiling is much higher than Pickett. This is someone that can beat you through the air and on the ground. 40 total touchdowns, almost 1,000 rushing yards compared to Pickett, who is an athletic quarterback, but he can win from in the pocket. Some people compare him to a Joe Burrow light. He's got nice touch. He can move, but I just like Willis a little bit more. At the end of the day, when you can have 40 touchdowns and almost 3,000 passing yards and another 1,000 on the ground, that's someone that defensive coordinators are going to have a much harder time stopping when it comes to game planning Monday through Saturday to play him on Sunday. But this is what you have to think of when you're Joe Schoen, and I know he's doing this because I trust him. If you don't trust Daniel Jones, whether it's the neck injury, the things you've seen on tape, you don't think this is someone that can elevate this franchise and make them a playoff contender, you have to take a quarterback, because who knows when you're going to be picking 5th overall in the NFL draft again. Remember last year when the Atlanta Falcons picked 4th and they took Kyle Pitts, and there were quarterbacks on the board like Justin Fields and other guys that they could have drafted, and then just a year later they traded Matt Ryan for pennies on the dollar? You don't want to be in that situation if you're the New York Giants, because you don't know when you're going to be at the top of the draft again. The Atlanta Falcons, they're on the outside looking in when it comes to taking one of the top quarterbacks. So if you don't trust Daniel Jones, if you don't see it 5 years from now that this can be a top 15, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, you might have to strike while the iron is hot and take your quarterback right now. We got some free agency news to break down, and it's sad because he's one of my favorite players on the Giants, and that is Jabril Peppers, and he is signing a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots, and I thought he really could have succeeded in a Don Wink Martindale defense. He's a Swiss Army knife type of player, can play linebacker, can play free and strong safety, and can play a little bit in the nickel spot, can cover some tight ends, not so much receivers. But I'm upset because it's a 1-year deal and the money hasn't come out yet. I don't expect it to be a lot of money because he's coming off that ACL injury, and who knows if he'll be ready for week 1. And that may be why the Giants have chosen to move on from him and not bring him back. But I want you guys to show Jabril Peppers some love. He deserves it. He's been a team captain 2 of the past 3 years. He's brought some swag and some confidence back to the Giants in that Odell Beckham trade. So type 2121 in the comment section to show some love to Jabril Peppers. I'm wishing the best from him coming forward in his NFL career, coming off that injury. I really like the person and the player he is. So show some love and type 21 in the comments to give some love to Jabril Peppers. I appreciate everyone that has watched today's show. If you made it this far in the video, go down, give us a like, and follow me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting about the Giants nonstop all day, every day, and I'm always trying to chop it up with Giants fans about New York Giants football. So send me a DM. They're open. Give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_.